It's a new week, but we're seeing some of the same struggles right here in the San Diego real estate market in regards to mortgage rates, including days on market and the median price point right here in San Diego. 21 counties in California have seen a price drop from July of last year to July of this year. Did San Diego make the list? And where are some of the best spots to move if you are leaving California? That's what we're going to get into right now. So last week may have ended on a high note with bonds rallying on Powell's Jackson Hole speech, as well as everything else in the market. We saw crypto go up. We saw the stock market go up, but perception was better than reality at the time. The reality was and is that Friday's rally merely reinforced the trading range that has been going on since August 1st jobs report. At the present pace, and considering the economic calendar in the weeks ahead, we could be waiting for the next job report before seeing a meaningful challenge to the range, roughly between 4.2 and 4.35 in the 10-year Treasury yields. This week's key event is Friday's PCE inflation, but even if it doesn't tend to move markets as much as other reports, it's important confirmation. It's also worth more to the Fed when it comes to making a September rate cut decision. So the next jobs report, and this is going to be for August numbers, is going to be out on September 1st. So a little bit before they do meet, it's going to have a big impact on what happens during that meeting. Now, there's still a huge percentage that, yeah, we're going to see a September rate cut, but that jobs report can definitely affect the 10-year Treasury, which in turn affects the 30-year fixed mortgage rates. And so we've kind of been in that same range as far as where mortgage rates are. It started at 6.58 after this big drop off right here, kind of right after that last August report came out, and then a little bit of bump and a little bit more down. Right now we're sitting at 6.52% on Mortgage News Daily. And so if we do see a drop in that 10-year Treasury, we'll likely see a drop in mortgage rates, but we're just hovering right around that psychological level of 6.5%. I think once we start getting below that, yes, the market does pick up. In some of the articles I was reading and some of the numbers we were looking at earlier, the pending sales did bump up a little bit this year. So as we have seen the mortgage rates drop down a little bit, this bottom line is pending sales. You can see it ticks. It's a little bit of an upwards trend, whereas active inventory and new listings is on a downward trend. So the gap between these is getting a little bit smaller, although it is still pretty big. You can see it's closing a little bit. So there's a little bit more demand out there with a little bit less homes coming onto the market. So here's our inventory levels. This is for single family homes right here in San Diego. Been chopping sideways a little bit since peak on the 4th of July, the previous 7-day average. From there, we saw obviously a drop off, usually including that week. So you don't see a ton of homes coming on July 4th weekend. But you did see it bump up a little bit, and then we're kind of going sideways. So we've been in this range, but likely as we go towards the end of the year, this is going to continue to trend down, but well above where we were last year. So 34.66. Last year, we were at 26.59. So there were 21 counties in the California housing market that did see price drops from a year ago. So as we are going through, basically comparing July to July, some of these bigger ones were kind of like way up in Northern California, Mendocino, Plumas. You did see in Trinity County saw big drops like 19.2%, much smaller markets than some of them that we do have down here. But understanding the why of the price drops, there's a few factors that we've mentioned before. You have elevated mortgage rates. So higher interest rates make buying a home more expensive, decreasing buyer demand. And this is always a major player. Economic uncertainty, concerns over the economy also have potential buyers hitting pause. Plateauing inventory, which we just showed you, housing inventory in California and San Diego was increasing, but now we're kind of seeing that plateau, likely see that continue down towards the end of the year. And seasonal trends. The market can sometimes be slower during particular months, which exerts downward pressure on the costs. So did San Diego make the 21 California counties with year-over-year price drops? Here's the big ones: Trinity, Mendocino, Plumas. As you're getting into Napa, slow. You have going down a little bit. So a lot of these smaller counties as you're going through here: San Bernardino, Ventura, Riverside, and then the last one on the list is Los Angeles at minus 0.4%. But looking at San Diego, we did see a little bit of a price increase from July 2024. So year over year, we're up 2% right here in San Diego as we get into here. So a few other numbers, the year-to-date percent change in sales is down 1.1%. Year over year is down 6.5%. Median price about just over $1 million. Unsold inventory index is 3.5, and the median time on market is 24 days. And right now, homes are now taking 43 days to sell, marking the slowest summer in a decade, which we highlighted on last week's video. In July, Redfin reports that typical U.S. homes sat for 43 days, up from 35 a year earlier and the longest since July 2015. Pending sales fell 1.1%. The median sales price rose 1.4%, but that's not for everywhere. But those numbers were for July. So now we're looking at a 4-week average of what's happening right now. Median days on market right here in San Diego, you can see is much higher, about 38 days on market. And you can see the gap between last year and this year is rising, where we did get pretty close down here in the earlier part of the year. Now this seems to be accelerating a little bit. So homes are sitting a bit longer, not quite that 43-day average that we did recently see, but it is climbing, and expect that to continue through the end of the year. So sellers, if you're thinking about selling your home, just go in with that mindset. So a few things for sellers as you're looking at longer time on the market, especially going towards the end of the year. Realistic pricing, maybe not going that aggressive. This home sold for $1 million. I'm gonna price mine at 1.1. A few years ago, it definitely would work, where there was more buyers, there's more demand out there. So you can price a little more aggressively and maybe a little bit more above where the last sales were, a little bit above market. There's enough demand and enough people interested in homes, not enough supply, where that was a good strategy. Now there's a much different strategy that has been working right here in the San Diego real estate market. Also, be patient. As we're going through, we've had a few homes come on the market. We're even changing our strategies too. When we're launching these homes, it used to be like Wednesday, Thursday, but we just did that and we actually got no showings the first weekend. So we're planning on launching it even earlier in the week, because the second weekend we got about 6 or 7 showings. So just buyers are taking their time a little bit more. They're not necessarily jumping on. We actually just got one under contract that had been on the market for a while. The buyer saw it, and it was probably about a week and a half to almost 2 weeks before they ended up writing an offer. So being patient out there is going to be key going forward. Now, what if you're leaving California? Where's the best state to move in 2025? The best bet for relocation we'll show you, but it's based off of this article here. He went through costs, economy, livability, education, and healthcare, safety, and a consensus ranking based on other studies. This map highlights where Californians might move, but this is including politics. If you take politics out of it, you'll see a different number pop up. And right here, Minnesota ranked number 1 as far as places to live. Florida ranked number 2. With politics included. Overall rank minus politics is a 10. So some states we've seen people move into is Colorado. We've seen a little bit of Arizona, some up in Washington or Oregon. We've had clients move in from Florida. We've had clients actually move in from Texas. A handful of people are moving back from Texas. So we've seen that come in as well. But anyways, there are a lot of different options. If you guys are thinking about moving, here's where a lot of people are looking right here. Moving to, moving from. More than 43,000 people were searching to move out of California versus into the state. Some of the other ones are relatively the same, people moving in and out. See Florida, more than 27,000 people were searching to move into Florida than the state versus out. So we were kind of on one extreme. Florida was kind of on the other. New York, 32,000 people were searching to move out of New York as well. Illinois, interesting. A lot of people looking to move out of Illinois as well. Now the top 10 areas people are moving to according to Redfin here. Sacramento on the list as number 1, a net inflow of over 10,000. Outbound, once again in California City, Los Angeles, San Francisco being number 5 at a 20,900 outflow. Now here's people moving to San Diego. 2 of the biggest ones are actually within state, where you have San Francisco and then you have LA. More than 7,431 people searching to move to San Diego were searching from Los Angeles. Over on the East Coast, you do have some Boston, you have some New York, you have some Washington, so DC, you have some North Carolina. And where are people moving from San Diego? Look up here, some in Portland, Oregon. You do have some in Vegas. You have some over in Nashville. So it's a good mix. Here's the top 10 on each side. People are moving to San Diego from LA, San Francisco, Washington, Boston, all those. People are leaving San Diego for Portland being number 1, Phoenix number 2, Vegas number 3, all the way down into San Antonio, Texas at number 10. So we'll continue to keep an eye on what's going on right here in the San Diego real estate market as interest rates do fluctuate, and is that potentially going to pick up the market and see a late rally going into the end of the year. Once again, really depends on those rates, but typically we're going to see less homes coming on. We're going to see the market slow down as a whole going into the latter months of the year. But if you guys are thinking about making the move, you want to start that conversation, all of our contact info is below. I'm Chris Erickson. We got a real estate crew right here in San Diego, and we got your back when making the move here in San Diego.